Maggie Thompson was a 42-year-old woman living in New York City. She owned an apartment on Manhattan's bustling streets, renting it out to gain some extra income while taking care of her infirm mother full-time. At the time, Maggie's life seemed to be on track. However, everything changed when she rented out her apartment to a middle-aged Australian woman named Jane Smith. Jane claimed to have owned and lived in her home for 30 years and was gainfully employed. She met all financial criteria and even provided solid letters of reference. But despite these assurances, Maggie soon found herself facing a problem that would turn into the biggest challenge she had ever encountered. Maggie's world began to shake when Jane stopped paying rent after 7 months. Maggie tried contacting her tenant but received no response. Frustrated, Maggie decided to take legal action and took Jane to housing court. She successfully evicted Jane and sued for damages due to the stained sofas, a broken microwave, and the filthy condition of the apartment. Jane skipped both court dates and vanished without a trace, fleeing back to Australia where it would be costly and time-consuming for Maggie to hire local lawyers. With no other choice, Maggie was left with a $20,000 loss in unpaid rent and damages. The situation seemed insurmountable, but Maggie refused to give up. Determined to seek revenge, Maggie decided to buy Jane's domain name, janesmith.com, and built a website where she detailed the facts of her legal battle. She meticulously included Jane's financial judgments, photos of the damaged furniture and broken microwave, the eviction notice posted on the door, and details about Jane's professional life in Queensland. Maggie focused on SEO to ensure that janesmith.com would be the top result when people Googled Jane's name. She monitored website visits and noticed that her employer had visited the site, while others who saw Jane at a professional conference reached out with information about her whereabouts. Maggie also contacted the people who wrote letters of reference for Jane and shared her unscrupulous behavior with them. Over the next 3 years, janesmith.com continued to generate traffic, costing Maggie around $100 a month in upkeep. However, the satisfaction of publicly revealing Jane's true nature brought immense gratification. The website had a lasting impact on Jane's life. Any job application or apartment rental she submitted now came with an internet search revealing her past. Angela in Queensland, the Australian name behind janesmith.com, had successfully unmasked Jane and ensured that she could no longer deceive others. Now, 3 years later, Maggie still owned the domain name, and the website remained active, continuing to serve as a constant reminder of the consequences of Jane's actions. The satisfaction Maggie felt was immense, but it came at a cost. She had dedicated countless hours and dollars to ensure that Jane could no longer hide behind a false persona. Maggie's revenge story was not just about financial recovery, it was about justice and exposing deceit. As she sat in her New York apartment, watching the website stats rise, Maggie felt a sense of fulfillment knowing that her actions had sent a clear message. Honesty and integrity were non-negotiable in this world. Angela in Queensland, you now know FAFO.